Welcome to Nemo Sports, your go-to place for new MMA fans, guiding seasoned ones back, and your place to reliving classic fights. Today, we're diving into Jean Silva and his journey in the UFC. Jean Silva, also known as Lord, is a Brazilian powerhouse in the UFC featherweight division. Born on December 13, 1996, in Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil, he has been making waves with his explosive knockouts and relentless fighting style. Standing at 5 feet 7 inches with a 69-inch reach, Silva fights with speed, power, and precision, qualities that have earned him 14 wins in 16 fights, with 11 brutal knockouts. Jean Silva fights are ones you don't want to miss. My first impression of Jean Silva was that he was a bit unusual, crying during his introduction before a fight and constantly dabbing his opponent in the middle of the action. But one thing is clear when you watch him fight: he is powerful and precise. After every victory, he puts on glasses with tape between the lenses, a tribute to his teammates and coaches from the Fighting Nerds group. The Fighting Nerds have another fighter who has caught my attention, but that's a story for another video. Silva trains with Fighting Nerds in São Paulo, where he sharpens his skills against some of the best in Brazil. His record proves his hunger: only 2 losses and never been knocked out. That's the mark of a true warrior. Today, we show you his notable fights, from MMA to UFC. Jean Silva versus Lorenzo Rodrigues. Jean Silva's professional MMA journey kicked off spectacularly. On November 19, 2016, at AFC 48, he stepped into the cage to face Lorenzo Rodrigues. No one expected what happened next. As soon as the fight started, Silva unleashed a powerful punch that connected cleanly. Rodrigues instantly hit the mat, and the fight ended in just 15 seconds. It was the perfect debut, a statement win that showed Silva had serious knockout power. Jean Silva versus Pedro Henrique. On May 21, 2017, at AFC 52, Silva faced Pedro Henrique. This was his toughest fight yet. Henrique was well-rounded, with strong defense and fast counters. Unlike Silva's past opponents, he didn't fall to early pressure. The fight went the full 3 rounds, with both men exchanging punches and takedown attempts. Silva landed good shots, but Henrique fought back just as hard. When the final bell rang, both fighters thought they had done enough. The judges, however, saw it differently. They awarded a split decision win to Henrique. Silva had tasted his first loss. It stung, but instead of feeling defeated, he used it as motivation. His next fight would prove whether he could bounce back stronger. Jean Silva versus Gabriel Schlup de Lima. On April 22, 2018, Silva took on Gabriel Schlup de Lima at the São José Superfight qualifying event. This was another 3-round war, but this time, Silva wasn't on the winning side. Lima controlled much of the fight, using footwork and counter-strikes to frustrate Silva. Even though Silva kept pushing forward, Lima was always one step ahead. After 3 hard-fought rounds, the judges gave Lima the unanimous decision win. This was a wake-up call. Silva realized he needed to improve his defense and fight IQ. Jean Silva versus Muniz Martins dos Santos. On November 10, 2018, Silva entered MF Fighters 1 with a new mindset. He wasn't going to let another fight slip away. This time, he faced Muniz Martins dos Santos. Silva came out aggressive, landing sharp combinations. He had learned from his past losses and didn't waste energy. Midway through the first round, he connected with a clean shot that dropped Santos. Silva pounced, finishing him with ground and pound at 2:10 of round 1. Jean Silva versus Antonio Santos de Miranda. On April 27, 2019, Silva fought Antonio Santos de Miranda at MTK MMA 6. This time, he didn't rely on his fists. Instead, he showed his submission skills. The fight was fast-paced, with both men looking for openings. Silva saw his chance in the first round. He wrapped his arms around Miranda's neck and locked in a tight guillotine choke. At 3:21, Miranda tapped out. It was Silva's first submission win, proving he was dangerous on the ground as well. With his confidence soaring, he was ready for bigger challenges. Jean Silva versus Tamaré Lacerda. By March 8, 2020, Silva was on a mission. At Cidade da Luta 5, he faced Tamaré Lacerda and delivered yet another knockout victory. At 4:28 of the first round, Lacerda hit the canvas, unable to continue. Silva was now a knockout artist with submission skills, but his hunger for dominance kept growing. Jean Silva versus Adriano Souza. On June 27, 2021, Silva took on Adriano Souza at Future FC, Road to Future 1. The fight started off evenly, but Silva's power made the difference once again. At 4:22 of the first round, he landed a perfect punch that knocked Souza out cold. The knockout victories were piling up, and it was clear Silva was ready for even bigger challenges. That's exactly what he got next. Jean Silva versus Thiago Souza. Just 2 months later, on August 8, 2021, Silva fought Thiago Souza at Big Shot Fight 1. He wasted no time and quickly secured a guillotine choke submission, ending the fight in just 50 seconds of round 1. Silva's ability to win fights in multiple ways made him a serious threat. He was now a proven finisher, and soon the UFC would take notice. Dana White's Contender Series, Kevin Vallejos on September 6, 2023. Silva fought Kevin Vallejos in Dana White's Contender Series. This was his biggest fight yet, with a UFC contract on the line. For the first time in years, Silva went the full 3 rounds. Vallejos was tough, but Silva controlled the fight. He landed powerful strikes, defended takedowns, and won a clear, unanimous decision. The victory earned him a UFC contract. His dream was becoming reality. Now, he had to prove he belonged in the world's toughest MMA organization. UFC debut. Weston Wilson Silva made his UFC debut on January 13, 2024, against Weston Wilson. He wanted to make a statement, and he did just that. Silva overwhelmed Wilson with aggressive striking, forcing the referee to stop the fight at 4:12 of the first round. His UFC career had begun with a bang, but the challenges were only getting tougher. His next opponent, Charles Jourdain, was an experienced UFC fighter. The rising star, Charles Jourdain and Drew Dober on June 29, 2024. Silva faced Charles Jourdain at UFC 303. He showed patience and precision, knocking out Jourdain in the second round at 122. Silva won again, proving he's a tier above your average fighter. The question is, how far can he go? From small promotions to the UFC, he had proven himself. But how far can he go? And who do you think could be his biggest threat? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to get more fight moments from your favorite MMA stars.